Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett Steak. Let's get started. So as that time of week, it's time to go over my top 10 college football games of the week and go over my predictions for them. Let's get started. Um, so my first top game of the week is obviously going to be 6 Michigan versus 8 Michigan State, a noon game on Fox. This will hopefully be one of the best games of the year, and I think it will. I think we'll see a good old classic game of smash mouth, physical, running with the football type of game. Remember last year, albeit during the COVID year, that Michigan State beat Michigan on the road. So I know the Wolverines are going to be looking for some revenge here, and Harbaugh just desperately needs to win in general. Because right now he has a 500 record against Michigan State. Um, but I think this is kind of a coin flip type game. Either team can win, but I feel like in the end, the home crowd and Michigan State's run game will, in the end, take over. And I feel like they'll win. I have them winning by just 1 point, 20-19. Second, you got 10 Ole Miss, 6-1 versus 18 Auburn, 7 p.m. ESPN. I know Ole Miss is hard to stop on offense. Well, Auburn's not Georgia, level. But like they're kind of like on Kentucky's level. They're a pretty good defense within the SEC. So I feel like they can give an Ole Miss offense not like stop them per se, but be able to contain them enough to cause some fits like they did for Arkansas. And remember, if you're looking at common opponents, Ole Miss beat Arkansas by 1 point in a shootout. Well, Auburn beat Arkansas on the road by 2 touchdowns. So take that which you will. I do think this will be a close game. It'll be a one-score game. But being at home and the defense that Auburn is, I feel like, and with Matt Corral not being necessarily 100% right now, I feel like Bo Nix can do just enough to get the win here. There's a reason why Auburn's barely favored, and I feel like they're barely favored for reasons. So they're going to get the win 24-23. You got 20 Penn State versus 5 Ohio State, 7:38 ABC. Now, because Penn State got upset by Illinois, the line is a lot, and people expect the Buckeyes who are on a roll just to win this game easily. Well, I do think Ohio State will win. I'm not sure if it's going to be. I'm not sure convinced that will be by a lot. So after getting embarrassed, James Franklin, I know will get his group right. They'll have his team better prepared. The Penn State quarterback said he's near 100% now finally, and he clearly wasn't on Saturday. So take that which you will. Well, I mean, he could be faking it, but if he's near 100%, that's good for the Penn State offense. And also, while Ohio State's been playing better ever since the Oregon loss, you have to look at the competition. They haven't played anyone, so yeah, their offense is going to look good. Well, their offense should look good against anyone, but then also their defense, which is bad to begin the season, then they're looking better. But again, you could point that to competition. So I want to kind of seed this game to see, okay, against a good Penn State defense, to see, okay, how legit is Ohio State now since that Oregon loss. So, like I said, I do think Ohio State will win, but it won't be easy. It'll take till the fourth quarter to kind of pull themselves away. Have them winning 28-17. Next, you got one Georgia versus Florida, 3:30 CBS. Because this is a big rivalry game, despite Florida's struggles, I feel like they can make this an interesting game and put up a five. But again, it'll be blowout in the end, and Georgia. Well, if you call it two scores, blowout. I've been winning by 2 scores basically, and Georgia wins 24-9. 9 Iowa versus Wisconsin, new ESPN. Again, I still think Wisconsin quarterback Sam Mertz has limitations. The running game and Purdue's turnovers basically helped Wisconsin win that game last week and get Mertz's first ranked wins. Even though Purdue's not ranked anymore since they're 25th. But this game's pretty appealing. Iowa was blown out by Purdue at home, and then Wisconsin just beat Purdue on the road by 2 touchdowns. So, does that mean that Wisconsin at home should win? Iowa's coming off a bye, so it's pretty enticing, especially coming off a bye after an upset loss. So I would love to see how they bounce back here, and I do think they could bounce back. But I do think Wisconsin can, with their defense, can make Iowa one-dimensional. If Iowa has become one-dimensional passing offense, that's not going to bode well for Iowa. So I do think Wisconsin could do enough to get the win here in a low-scoring game. I have them winning 17-13. Texas versus 16 Baylor in the ABC. Because Texas offense is explosive, I think on the road they can score and give themselves always a chance to win a game. But the Texas defense will have no answer for Baylor's offense, and that'll be the difference in the game. So Baylor gets another win, 31-23. Texas Tech versus 4 Oklahoma, 3:30 ABC. Now this game loses some interest with Texas Tech coach Matt Wells being fired, despite that we know Oklahoma can't blow out anyone, including Kansas. So I feel like it'll be a close enough game, but Oklahoma eventually pulls away for the win here at home. I have them winning 42-27. Virginia 6-2 versus 25 BYU, 10-15 ESPN2. This is a coin flip game, in my opinion here. So former BYU coach Bronco Mendenhall is now the Virginia coach, is coming back to pro this season for the first time since he departed. Same with all the assistants, that are former BYU assistants and players. So it's going to be a very, even if Bronco Mendenhall is not focused on the matchup knowledge, focused on the game itself. For the fans wise and a lot of other people, it's going to be a very emotional game here. Virginia is a top 10 offense in college football, so we can't sleep on them. And against BYU's defense with a bunch of injuries and the fact that they kind of are bend don't break, Virginia's going to be able to do what they will for the most part on them. But I feel like BYU's offense could take advantage of a bad Virginia defense. So I feel like this will be a back and forth type of game. This will be a game where BYU will feature the running back Tyler J like they did last week against Washington State, since Virginia is a bad run defense. And also that'll help, kind of milk the clock and keep Virginia's offense on the sideline as spectators, because I feel like that's the only way you're going to be able to win this game. And I also feel like the home crowd will, get themselves the ultimate advantage with Eastern time, zone coming all the way to for a late kickoff in the Mountain West. I just feel like it's kind of going to be a little bit hard to overcome there. Again, I feel like it'll be close coming around to the wire, but I have BYU winning by 130. UCLA 5-3 versus Utah 4-3, 10 p.m. ESPN. Now both teams had missed opportunities last week, no question about that, to get a win, a key win in their conference race. But despite that, this game still has appeal to it, because the winner of this game will then basically control their destiny for being the Pac-12 championship game, basically. Because Utah did control it, but now with their loss to Oregon State last week, now they got to regain that control. Because remember, they already beat Arizona State, so they could beat UCLA, which is the other top team in that South Division, and they're going to win it basically. I do feel like Utah's defense will contain UCLA enough, whether DTR, their quarterback, whether he's healthy or if just back at garbage who came in late against Oregon. I feel like it's going to be a problem there, but then also I feel like UCLA's defense is just going to no match for Utah's offense. So I feel like that's where the game lies basically. So I have Utah winning 34-20. And then last but not least, we'll get some Group 5 love here with 19 SMU 7-0 versus Houston 6-1, 7 p.m. ESPN2. This is a very interesting game here because we know since he's going to be in the AC title game and the favorite, all that. But the winner of this game will then most likely determine who, since he's going to play in that conference title game, and also keep themselves alive if they even have a shot for a New Year's Six bowl berth. But assuming they can upset Cincinnati in the conference title game, but. This will be a very interesting game, both offensive shootout basically, but I do feel like Houston at home, I feel like will ultimately get the upset here, because I feel like Houston has one of the better defenses in America, where they contain SMU just enough on offense, and then I don't trust SMU's defense per se. So I have Houston winning 34-31. Okay, so now it's time to go over my Week 8 NFL scores. So I'll start with tonight's football game, Green Bay versus Arizona. Arizona's favored by 6. I had Arizona as slight favorite to begin with, now with wide receiver Devontae Adams and Lazard out, and their defense coordinator out. I was like, okay, Arizona's going by bluff, and then we get the news that J.J. Watt is going to be most likely after the year of the season injury, and then also you got DeAndre Hopkins questionable that he should play, but it's still questionable, so he may not be 100%. So it's like, okay, now that's going to help Green Bay a little bit more. So I'm kind of, saying, okay, which one's going to be? I do feel like Arizona's going to win in this game. I'm going to have them winning by 2 possessions, mainly because their offense, I feel like, just has so many pieces that Green Bay won't be able to stop it enough. So I have them winning 24-13. Okay, then you got Carolina, 3-4 versus Atlanta, 3. Atlanta's favored by 2.5. This game's a tough one for me to predict because, this is one of those games where Carolina could win and get themselves out of the funk that they're in. I also think if they can't get out of their funk against Philly or the New York Giants, then it probably won't happen against Atlanta at home. So it's a division rival, so I feel like it'll be close. But in the end, I feel like Atlanta will pull out and win 3 games in a row. So I have them winning 24-17. Miami versus Buffalo. Buffalo's favored 13.5. This could be a blowout, in my opinion. I don't know what else to say. I think this will just be a blowout in Buffalo. I have them winning very easily. I have them winning 42-14. San Francisco versus Chicago. San Francisco favored by 3.5. Now this game's a hard game to predict here because there's not a lot right going for either team here. I mean, Khalil Mack for Chicago is going to be on IR. Chicago's offensive line's bad. Um, Justin Fields been playing horrible. San Francisco, it's like Jimmy G has been playing not great either because he's not 100%. Trey Lance 100%. There's still so many injuries going on. San Francisco kind of looks lethargic at times. So I'm just not sure what to predict here. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the favorite here because I feel like San Francisco being in their division desperately needs to win. And overall, I feel like they're the better team. They should win this game, so they're winning 19-17. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Something has to give here. Cleveland loves to run the ball, and Steelers have a good run defense, so it'll be interesting what happens here. No matter who the quarterback is, it looks like Baker Mayfield will probably be the quarterback here, but even it's Case Keenum. It'll be interesting to see what happens here as long as Baker or Keenum just takes care of the ball. Then Stefanski, I feel like, can design enough plays here to get the win. The winning 17-16. Philly versus Detroit. This is a nice bounce back game for Philly here after their horrendous performance last week against Vegas. However, at home for Detroit, if there was a game that Detroit can finally get their first win, it would have to be this game at home against Philly. This looks like the easiest game right on the schedule. I feel like they'll finally pull through and get the win here. They'll win 24-23. Tennessee 5-2 versus Indianapolis. Tennessee's for about 1 point here. Both teams have been on a nice groove recently. So like I said, both teams are on a groove. It's a must-win game for the Colts, in my opinion, since you already lost to Tennessee once, and you're trying to get back to being 500, keep yourself in contention for not only just getting playoffs but division title here. Since it's at home, I feel like the Colts would make just enough plays on defense, and their offense can expose the Tennessee defense secondary. I feel like Indianapolis won by 1 here, 20-27. Cincinnati versus Jets. No, nothing to say here. Cincinnati wins 42-7. LA Rams versus Houston. Again, this game should be about, but the one thing that's interesting is that Tyrod Taylor, quarterback for Houston, just came back to practice now off the IR. So if he ends up playing and he's healthy enough, then I feel like Houston can make this closer than it should be. But if it's still the rookie quarterback Mills, and I'll have LA Rams winning easily. But I think Tyrod Taylor's going to play aside and win 2017, but I could be wrong. New England versus LA Chargers. I think this will be a close game, and the Patriots have shown, except week 1, that they will, beat all the bad teams and most instances be competitive against the good teams. So I expect the Patriots to be competitive here once again, especially since the Chargers have a bad run defense. The Patriots can get what they want there on offense, running the ball. But I do feel like, also, while Belichick did destroy her last year, I feel like the Chargers are coming off a much needed bye. I feel like is going to be good for them. I feel like Herbert can make just enough plays to get the win here. Them winning 23-20. Jacksonville versus Seattle. And typically this wouldn't be a close game because Geno Smith should still be playing. I feel like this will be a close game, despite being Seattle. I do feel like it will come down to, can this Seattle defense make enough plays like they did against New Orleans and Pittsburgh to keep their offense within the game. I feel like this time they will. I have Seattle winning just by 3, 20-17. Washington versus Denver. I know Denver lost to Case Keenum in the third-string running back last week, but I feel like this is the game for Denver to finally bounce back, not only being at home, but Washington. I mean, yeah, Heineke's fine, but like you can't let Heineke beat Washington has defensive problems. All this is just kind of the game, despite all the injuries, especially on defense for Denver. They can finally get back in the groove here. So I'm winning 21-20. Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. With this being an intense rivalry game, I expect this to be a close game, even though Tampa Bay is better. But in the end, I feel like New Orleans will, for some reason, get an upset because there's just one of the games where there's an upset we expected. So this is the game where I predict that. So I'm going to have New Orleans win 23-21. Dallas versus Minnesota. And if Dak Prescott was healthy, I'll take Dallas here, especially on Sunday Night Football, which Kirk Cousins is not, a fan of. But I do feel like with Dak not being 100%, or he could not even play at all, but according to rumors, but I mean, if it does play, he won't be 100%, which I feel like will hinder the Cowboys. And, Minnesota has tons of weapons on offense. The Cowboys' defense might be, and a buy in there. So I do feel like Minnesota will actually win here 30-27. And then for Monday Night Football, Giants versus Chiefs. I do feel like it'll be a closer game than it should be, because that's how the Chiefs been this year. But I do feel like, with their offensive weapons and all that, they'll get back on track and win here 27-17. So thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel to learn about me. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day.